Hello, Brockton. I'm Richard Ripley, the BATBUS guy. Welcome to my first broadcast. Let me ask all of you first, have you ever been on a bus and the driver starts moving it before you find a seat and pay your fare? Have you ever had a bus driver drive right past you on the street while you're waiting for the bus? Has a bus driver ever shut the door on you, hands and feet, as you're trying to get off the bus? Has a bus driver ever been rude to you? Has a bus driver ever operated the bus in an aggressive manner, honking the horn and hitting the brakes hard and hitting the gas hard, basically aggressive driving? If you've been a victim of any of these and other safety issues on the bus, then this podcast is for you. As you may know, I ran for mayor of Brockton to sound the alarm on bus safety. Since this is my first show, I want to begin by telling you why I decided to produce this podcast. I'm a 67-year-old disabled senior, and I was a 3-time victim of nearly falling down on the bus and nearly hurting myself. My most important goal in doing this podcast is to prevent the tragedy. I don't want to see an innocent kid or senior get hurt and fall down on the bus and be injured. I'm trying to do everything I can in my limited power to prevent a tragedy. The most serious threat on the bus is the driver begins to move the bus while you're standing there trying to pay your fare, and or you're holding your infant child or you're carrying a bag of groceries and you're trying to pay your fare on a moving bus without losing your balance and falling down. I now want to give you an idea of what's going on in the bus and how the drivers interpret this problem. This is a gentleman named Mr. Guy Pierre. He's the bus driver. He's also the vice president of the local 1547, the Bus Drivers Union. He approached me on a bus a couple months ago, and he asked me if I worked for BAT. I said, no, I do not. He then said, I know who you are. You have to stop sending complaints in about the drivers. He said that I have to understand that it is very hard for the bus drivers, including himself, to break the habit of driving to endanger, of moving the bus while people are standing at the fare box. And then he also stated that it wastes time. I explained to Mr. Pierre that the safety of the passengers is more important than saving time and keeping the buses on schedule in the stops. He also stated, and this one you're not going to believe, he said, I make the drivers feel uncomfortable and unsafe when I'm on the bus because they know I'm watching them. He said that unsafe. I said that if the drivers simply drive according to the law and drive not to endanger the public safety, then they have nothing to be uncomfortable with and feel unsafe with me on the bus. He stated that people do not care if the driver moves the bus while they are paying their fare before they find a seat. He also said, I said I care about moving the bus, and that the reason that most passengers accept it and do not complain is because they very simply don't know what the law is. They don't know that they have the right to ask the driver to stop the bus until they find a seat. He also stated that drivers simply don't realize what they're doing. They've been doing it for so long, they do it out of habit. The door closes, they start moving the bus. He also said that Mr. Damon, he's a general manager of BAT. Mr. Damon tried to talk to the drivers during their weekly meetings, and Mr. Damon stresses to the drivers to don't move the bus until the passengers pay their fare and have found a seat. But the drivers just don't listen to Mr. Damon. He also stated that baby strollers will no longer be required to be folded on the bus. Now, I said to him, not in this email I'm reading, but in another one to Mayor Sullivan and to the City Council and to the Brockton Enterprise and to the BAT, that what is a passenger like myself supposed to do? I'm 67 years old. I'm disabled. I'm trying to get carrying bags of groceries from a market basket. I get on the bus. The bus is moving. I look down the aisle of the bus, and there's baby strollers and shopping carts and other things that passengers bring on the bus. You wouldn't believe what people bring on the bus and they're allowed to bring on. And I'm standing there, and first of all, it's a federal law. That aisle has to be clear for people to walk. Now, I'm 67 years old. I'm trying to get around baby carriages and shopping carts and everything, and if I trip and fall, I'm either going to fall to the floor and hurt myself, or I'm going to fall on an innocent infant, a baby. And anyway, I sent that email. I never received a response from BAT. Now I want to About my complaints. I screwed that up. Okay, I wanted to tell you this. I found this email about 2 months ago, and I was going through my 450 emails on this subject. That's a lot of emails. Anyway, the important thing to remember on this one, the date. The date is 9/16/2022. And it's me. I sent this in. I only gave my first name and my phone number. I didn't give my last name. And this is in BAT's words. They say the man states he is elderly and wanted to know the rule of moving the bus before passengers pay or are seated. He wanted to let us know that the driver of bus number 1806 and others never wait for people to pay. They start moving the bus. And he's had to hold on several times to prevent himself from falling. Their response was, the response states, review of the video confirms the complainant's version of events. The operator is moving the bus before allowing passengers to sit. Operators will be reminded that with the extended schedule and additional time per trip, it is expected they allow the passengers to sit before moving the bus. It also says here that Mr. Damon spoke with the complainant and apologized, which he did. He spoke. He called me on the phone and we spoke. He also stated that we will remind the operators to be more aware in letting the passengers sit before moving the bus. Now, the reason I mention this to you is this is more than 1 year ago, more than a year ago, and the same problem, the same safety incident is continuing and continuing and continuing and continuing. So whatever BAT is doing to address this, it is not working. The drivers are not listening. That's what I wanted to say on that one. The next one I wanted to bring up to is an actual accident that happened on the bus. And this is also sent to the BAT and the mayor and the city councilors and the enterprise. It happened in the second week in June. Something hit the back of the bus on the number 4 as we were driving down Pleasant Street. And the bus driver hit the brakes and slammed on the brakes, and everybody was propelled forward nearly out of our seats, and 2 elderly older ladies with walkers ended up on top of each other. And this is all on videotape. This is not made up. Everything I'm telling you is all reported. Anyway, this is a perfect example of what I've been saying since last February. It is clear proof why Mayor Sullivan needs to publicly address this dangerous and ongoing threat on the buses with the people. While no one was hurt in this incident, just imagine if there was a senior citizen or a kid standing at the fare box while the driver was driving that bus number 4 and had to hit those brakes. They would have been forcefully propelled right into and maybe right through the windshield and seriously hurt. This is my whole point of why this threat is so dangerous and why the mayor and BAT need to publicly address this. An accident can happen at any time without notice. Next time there may be a kid or senior citizen standing there at the fare box when something hits the back of the bus. I said, please, Mayor Sullivan, stop gambling and risking the lives of innocent Brocktonians and act like the mayor. The final one I want to report to you is, this is from John Whitmore. He's the Assistant General Manager of BAT. This is going to explain to you why this threat is going to be with us for quite some time. He stated, and these are his words, not mine, he stated, I have expressed our apologies and commitment moving forward to ensure the drivers do not lose focus and keep following the laws and policies in place to keep passengers safe. I have explained our position and what we are allowed to do within the confines of our collective bargaining agreement with the Amalgamated Transit Union and what steps we have taken to coach, warn, and reprimand the drivers violating the laws and policies. What this basically means is the buses in this city are never going to be safe. When Michael Lambert talks to the Mayor Sullivan, and he did, I already know that, and tells the mayor, oh, Mr. Mayor, no, we have the issue under control. The BAT buses are safe. He is not telling the mayor the truth. As long as this policy is in effect, it's called a fishing clause, BAT does not have the legal authority to keep the buses safe. Just as it says here, they are only allowed to do things within the confines of that collective bargaining agreement. So as long as that's there, the buses will not be safe. Now, I screwed up. Over the last few months, I have reported about 80 of these dangerous incidents to BAT and the mayor's office. I just recently received a certified letter from the city of Brockton stating that they and BAT investigated my concerns, my complaints, and my concerns were ruled valid, and the drivers were disciplined. But the problem with that is the city and BAT do not believe that you, the people of Brockton who ride the bus, have a right to know the dangerous nature of this threat, and that they've also refused my request to publicly address this with you, the people, so that you can be aware and take precautions to protect your children on the bus. So I decided to step in and do the mayor's job and produce this show to inform and educate you, everyone who rides the bus, of the threat on the bus and your rights under the law to protect yourself and how to report these incidents. Now, everybody out there, I want to say to you, I completely understand that many of you are not aware of the law and you're uncomfortable speaking with the bus driver. That's perfectly fine. That's okay. At one time, believe it or not, I was afraid to speak, and now I have trouble not talking. So I learned. What I did was, and you can do the same thing, is I practice with my coworkers and neighbors and family, and what we do, we sit around and we talk and ask each other questions so you're comfortable asking questions, asking the bus driver to stop the bus, because it could protect your life. Now, as for the law, as far as the bus goes, I have made repeated requests also again to Mayor Sullivan and the Brockton City Council to answer one simple question. Just one simple question. Do all residents of Brockton have a right to get on a bus safely without the driver moving the bus and threatening their life? Sadly, I got no response from any of our elected representatives on that question. So I'm going to answer that question for you now. Yes, you have the right to get on the bus safely. And don't let anyone tell you you don't. So if you get on a bus and the driver moves the bus, before you find a seat, all you have to do is ask the driver, please stop the bus until I find a seat. In fact, what you should do is as soon as you get on the bus, if you're an elderly senior or you're disabled, you should immediately tell the driver, please don't move the bus until I find a seat. I'm unsteady on my feet and I want to make sure I'm sitting down before you move the bus. Now I want to say, I screwed that up. Before I bring on my guest, I want to say to you that this podcast is for all of you out there to express and talk about any issues that you may have about riding the bus. I know today I've spent most of the time talking, but I want you to come in here and talk to the people on Zoom and guests here so we can have a conversation, so you can get your concerns out and we can address them. If you want to be a guest on my show or participate through Zoom, please contact me at the email at the bottom of your screen. I'm sorry, I have to go up one floor. We'll have to fix this later. I wanted to explain to you how to report your safety concerns on the bus. That information will also be on the screen for you too. It'll be very, very detailed so you know exactly what to do, because you have to follow the procedures if you want to get it done correctly. It's a certain procedure. Let's see. Also, I will be producing my show on Monday mornings. They will be broadcast on Brockton Community Access Channel 9, the preceding Friday and Monday evenings at 7:30 p.m. Also, I am available to speak at your church, your neighborhood group, your community centers, or anywhere your community gathers, to stand there, to sit there and talk to you, make you feel safe. I'll answer all your questions, and hopefully I can allay your fears about getting on the bus, and you'll know how to address the issues. Just contact me on the screen, at the bottom of your screen. Finally, I wanted to say I'll be putting on my Facebook page, on my Facebook channel, it's at BATBUSGUY, all capital letters, at BATBUSGUY. I'll be putting on documents and videos and speeches I made during my campaign for mayor, along with emails about this ongoing threat on the buses that in my attempt to get responses from my elected officials, so you can follow how this problem developed. Now let me bring on my guest. Okay, this is Jamal Brathwaite. He's a candidate for Brockton Council at Large. I didn't practice. Anyway, I wanted to ask you the same question that I asked Mayor Sullivan and our elected representatives. Do you believe that all residents of Brockton have a right to get on a bus safely without the driver moving the bus and endangering their safety?
Yes, I do believe that all residents in Brockton, all riders on the BAT bus deserve to safety first. The highest level of safety. And by the way, I also want to say thank you, Richard, for inviting me to your program. I thank you for raising this topic.
I've been fighting this for 9 months.
Yeah, no, and I can see, I can see you're committed to the cause.
I'm passionate about it sometimes, too much sometimes, but I just think I can make a difference, and I'm still fighting, and all I can do is try.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the topic here about safety on the BAT bus, I was not aware of the level of risk in this issue until Richard brought it to my attention. And I think that this might be a teachable moment for us as a community to identify how we can increase safety on the BAT bus, not just for riders, but for the drivers themselves, as well as pedestrians and anyone who might be subject to the risk associated with an incident related to safety in the BAT bus. For example, one topic that you mentioned that really resonated with me was the concept of getting on the bus, and before you make payment on the bus is already driving off, or the concept of the bus potentially driving off before people had an opportunity to have a seat or secure themselves on the bus. For myself, I use public transportation for about maybe 20 years of my life, where I was dependent on public buses and public trains. And so this topic really resonates with me, and it's important that in Brockton that we are known to having safe buses, so safe that people want to come to Brockton just to ride the BAT bus because they're like, hey, this bus system is known for being so safe. We got to give it a go, and maybe it's an opportunity to do other things with the BAT bus riding conditions, so it is a more enjoyable experience. But when I hear a problem, the first thought is, well, what solutions can we have to address this? And so thoughts I wanted to share with yourself, Richard, as well as to the audience at home. By the way, just as a repeat of what Richard said earlier, my name is Jamal Brathwaite. I'm a candidate for Brockton City Council at large, and I'm encouraging everyone to go out there and please vote early. You can vote early at the Shaw Center located at 1 Feinberg Way. Every day from now until November 3rd, 2023. And if you wait till Election Day on November 7th, you can vote at your local polling station. But as a city council at large, steps that I would take to address safety concerns for the BAT buses, I'd say 3 general categories. Number one, it's important that leaders in Brockton, whether it be the mayor and city council, as well as BAT bus administration, set the right tone for the public on the importance of public safety on BAT buses, and so that's one, and so they set the right tone, acknowledging the issues that you've raised, and also and also demonstrating what steps are going to be taken to address it. Secondly, it's just really important that for me, it's important that standards that BAT bus drivers adhere to are visible and commonly understood, and the way that could be achieved is that maybe rules could be put it on the buses themselves, where they're visible to all riders, where they can see, BAT bus standards, and they list them, maybe the top 5 standards, and these are standards that everyone riding can read and commonly see, so that if there's any issues, maybe that it could be identified immediately.
It has to be in the languages of the community speak.
So that's, making sure standards are visible and commonly understood. And then thirdly is the importance of ensuring that an annual review takes place by the BAT bus administration, to some kind of audit process where there's audit riders that are observing the BAT bus riding experience to identify areas for improvement. One thing that I'm very committed to is the importance of continuous improvement, and that includes on the city council and the review over the financial budget, but also continuous improvement in how they would address a safety issue such as this. And so it's important that we have an annual report that's produced by BAT bus administration that documents what audit review was completed on an annual basis to ensure rider safety.
Okay.
So now, one thing I also want to highlight is the way a city council. I know that I want to also clarify from an implementation point of view the way we could get to this space that we want to be in, where these type of these 3 initiatives could be achieved is by having the city council pass a resolution to have BAT bus administration and maybe the city solicitor and the mayor's office come before the city council to talk about BAT bus safety and what measures are in place to provide assurance to the public on the safety of BAT bus services. Now, in the past 3 years, the Brockton City Council has never passed a resolution like this. And so it's important that we have a city councilor that can identify an issue like this.
Yes.
That's what really identified
what I
Richard.
need. I
Richard's
need
been a
somebody.
real champion around this.
But I'm a nobody. I'm not
No,
elected.
you are somebody, and I think it's a really noble cause, especially when you talk about the importance of the safety of not just riders, but specifically riders who might be pregnant or children or the most vulnerable population in our society. And so, in identifying that, and with your experience and wisdom, you can see that it's an issue, and you want to prevent it from occurring. We all want to prevent it from occurring. And so let's prevent it from occurring. And that's where I feel like this might be a teachable moment. So for those out there who might have heard Richard's story before and feel that maybe it didn't resonate with them, I want to reassure you that public BAT bus safety is an extension of public safety. And there's a lot of people in Brockton that are very dependent on BAT bus services. So it's important that we give them the best service, especially when it comes to the safety.
Definitely. But the problem I've noticed is now, when I went through all these months, I eventually got BAT to put up some signs. And the signs they put up, all it said was, pay your fare as quickly as possible and find a seat. And if you need more time, ask the driver to stop the bus. But that, first of all, those signs were not when you get up the steps on the bus to get on the bus. Those signs are over there somewhere, or actually over that way somewhere, over there somewhere. And you can't see them when you get on the bus. And second of all, those signs did not stress the dangerous nature of the threat when they moved that bus. All it said was pay your fare as quickly as possible and find a seat. It should have said something like on the lines of, okay, BAT cares about your safety. We want you to be safe. So for our policy is the driver will not move this bus until you either get past the yellow line or you find a seat. And if you're unsteady on your feet, ask the driver, he'll stop the bus. That's something I know it sounds like a lot, but it can be done. But the signs that have to be explicit and tell people what this threat is, because people in Brockton don't know what the threat is.
And Richard, let me ask you a question. So in all your outreach, has any city councilor in Brockton reached out to you in response to any of your queries?
One, and that was only just recently. It was Mr. Farwell, I think his name is.
Oh, tell us about your experience or his response. Tell us, please.
If I could go to I won't go to my phone. I'll try to remember it now. I emailed him as I emailed all the city councilors, all my elected representatives, I call them, and I asked them. I asked him about the threat on the bus. Do the people of Brockton have a right to get on the bus safely? And he said something to the effect that, well, Brockton city councilors have no authority to tell BAT what to do. He said I should call my state representative, and he said something else, but I can't go to my phone right now. And I responded to him. My response to him was, Mr. Farrell, I understand that the city council has no authority to tell BAT what to do, but you do have the prerogative to address the people, a threat that you're aware of in your district, and warn the public. I mean, you got to give the innocent people, a mother putting her kid on the bus to go to school or to go across town, the mother or father has a right to know that over the last few months, and this is documented, everybody admits it, BAT admits it, the city admits it, there's a threat on the bus. They've done their investigation, but they have not brought it down to the level of the public. And if I'm a parent, or you're a parent putting your kid on the bus, you have not a right, you have a right, yes, but you have a need to know what is going on the bus. That BAT has investigated, they've disciplined almost 50 of their drivers, and this has been going on, like I said in this email, for over 1 year. The same problem keeps happening and happening and happening and happening. So whatever BAT is currently doing to try to get this under control, it is not working. So they need to change tactics.
So thank you for the feedback, or just for sharing the story about you identified a problem, you try to address solution, you started with it, trying to reach out to your elected officials. None of them responded except for Winthrop Farwell. And
He
so,
basically said he
and
couldn't do anything.
when he responded, he said that he couldn't do anything, and
Yes.
suggested that you move on to
Yes.
their state
What
representative.
I don't understand
Right,
about
okay,
that
yeah.
is, I know the city council, I don't know any council, but what I don't understand is, if you're a city council of your district, if you know for a fact that there is a threat to your community, your constituents, young kids, mothers,
Yes.
elderly people, you know for a fact it exists.
Yeah.
I know you don't have a legal obligation to respond, but you have a moral obligation
yeah.
to say something.
I would
protect the
agree. I would
people.
agree with you 100%, Richard. There's definitely a moral obligation, and so that's why I'm running for Brockton City Council at large, because I also acknowledge this is an issue but as a city councilor, I would approach it differently. As a city councilor, I would actually pass a resolution to have the Bat Bus administration come before the city council to discuss safety, public safety on the buses. And so, and how is this documented, and what steps are being taken to address them, and in what areas, what process in place? Do we have an audit process over the Bat Bus? And so that, once again, it starts with setting the right tone. So if our city councilors don't set the tone that this is a priority, then it's not going to be a priority. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm running. Okay, we don't have the right tone in city council right now. Richard's observed it. I've observed it. And so let's try to solve it. And you can solve it at home by going out and voting and encouraging your friends, your family, your neighbors to go out and vote here in the city of Brockton. In the most recent election on September 19th, less than 92% of registered voters in Brockton voted. And so that's a concern, especially when we have public safety issues such as what Richard's raising to us. We got to rise up and make a difference in our community. So please, we need you to go out and vote.
Yeah, yes. Well, that's good, Jamal. I agree with all that, and I thank you for being on my show today. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, what I want to say is, so today, everybody, it's Tuesday, October 31st. I want to say happy Halloween. I'm just asking that everyone please be safe tonight. Look both ways before you cross the street. Please note that there's going to be a lot of pedestrians out tonight, and they may not all be visible because of wearing costumes. So if you're a motorist, please drive slowly and safe, and pay attention. And so I want everyone to have a happy Halloween. I also want to highlight that on Wednesday, November 1st, 2023, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., I'll be hosting a campaign fundraiser and a dinner for every and anybody who wants to attend. This is about the betterment of Brockton. This dinner will take place at an Italian restaurant called Tutu Benny's, located at 50 Pearl Street, located in Brockton, Massachusetts. You're welcome to bring everybody. We're going to be serving lasagna, pasta, pizza, salad, and meatballs. So come on through. I look forward to seeing you.
I had one more thing I wanted to mention. I forgot about it until now. About 2 weeks ago, I contacted my state representative, Rita Mendez, in Boston, and I didn't think anything was going to come of it, because I've been disappointed so many times with my elected representatives when they don't respond, and I get let down. I'm used to that. But I actually got an email from her yesterday where she says her office will contact the mayor's office here in Brockton and try to work out a joint statement, a public statement on this public threat on the bus. Now, it's all contingent on the mayor agreeing with it, so I don't know if Mayor Sullivan's going to agree to this or not, but hopefully this issue may be settled soon. We'll have to wait and see what the mayor does. I don't know.
All right, yeah, and thank you so much, Richard. And thank you for all of you at home that listen to this program. This really has been a public service announcement to raise awareness regarding public safety issues and needs as it pertains to BAT bus services, and we want you to be safe. So if you're a rider on the BAT bus, please be careful, be safe. If you want to reach out to Richard, his contact info is here. You can reach him at richard61733@gmail.com.
Yes.
You can always reach out to myself, jamalbrathwaite@gmail.com, or you can call me at 774-428-1525. I hope to hear from you.
Okay, thank you, Jamal. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I just want to restate that if you'd like to join my podcast, come in person as a guest, or come in on Zoom, just call me and let me know in advance with my number on the screen there, my email, and I'll have everything set up for you. But I want to stress, this podcast is for you, the people of Brockton. It's not for me to come on and talk, and I know I did that today, and I opened your eyes to a lot of issues that I experienced. But I want to hear your experiences and what you've gone through, and the public would like to hear that too, so we can all discuss it and talk to it. And remember, the city officials are going to see this. Your elected officials will somehow see this. Some of them will see this, and you'll get a message to them without having to call them and talk to them. So I urge everyone to please contact me. Let's next week. Let's get some more guests in here. Let's get some Zoom meetings going, and let's get something done. Because I want to protect you all. This is my way of doing it. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm giving it my try. There's only I only have limited power to act and try to do the right thing. But I'm trying to do the best I can. But I need your help. So please, Brockton, contact me. Thank you very much.
And we thank you, Richard, for all your efforts. And please go vote November 7th.